What's up, everybody? Back at you with another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Today, we're going to be discussing a case that is shocking, right? When you listen to this, I really want you to respond. I want you to leave a comment. I want to know what you think. I want to know if you think these cats should be given the ultimate penalty. Yeah, you know what the ultimate penalty is. I mean, this is a 16-year-old kid that's just going around just clapping other kids. Not caring, no remorse, just on a path of destruction. What do you do when you have a kid like this, right? Like, how do these little kids that are little babies become these ruthless killers, man, at 16 years old? The world is changing. But I want to know what your opinion is. Let's get into this story. I can tell you it's a shocking story. It's a story that disturbed me. It's a story that, if you got kids, it's definitely going to hit home. And this is why we need to stay focused on family, stay focused on our kids, stay focused on being the best parents we could be, stay focused on giving them a safe environment to live in and to grow up in. But let's get into the story, man. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. This is probably going to bother you.
This is breaking news from News 8.
Good evening. That breaking news, a 12-year-old boy is dead and a 16-year-old is in serious condition after police say they were shot while walking on a sidewalk in Rochester. It happened in the area of Atkinson and Reynolds Streets. Christian Garzone is at the scene with the latest. Christian.
Well, Teresa, the scene is coming down here now, although there are still quite a few police cars here in the area. About 7 this evening, police responded here for the report of multiple shots fired. When they got here, they found a 12-year-old boy dead with at least one gunshot wound to his upper body. While police were here in the area, they also found a 16-year-old with a gunshot wound to the upper body on Prospect Street. His condition is serious but stable, and he's at Strong. Police say this leads them to believe the two victims were walking down the street when at least one suspect opened fire upon them. The motive is unknown at this time, according to police, and they say there are currently no suspects in custody. Police say both victims do live in this neighborhood. The Major Crimes Unit is investigating. Police are asking anyone with information to please call 911. Live in Rochester, Christian Garzone, News 8. Teresa, right back to you.
All right, more families in shock tonight. Thank you, Christian. The investigation is ongoing. As police provide more information, we'll update you on this story on air as well as online over at rochesterfirst.com.
Lebanon's mayor says dogged police work and help from the public led to 2 arrests in the murders of 2 children and a teenager at their home on North 5th Street Tuesday night, where a memorial of balloons, candles, and stuffed animals now honor them.
It was through assistance from the community and good old police work that led us to where we are today.
A police affidavit reveals one witness spotted a shooter in the area and saw a white vehicle speeding off. Another identified one suspect with the street name Flacco. A SWAT team and dozens of police officers took 22-year-old Alex Santos and a teenager into custody Wednesday morning at a home on North 9th Street.
I have to commend all personnel of the Lebanon County SWAT team and those that assisted for their unwillingness to give up.
Investigators recovered a rifle and handgun matching some 27 rounds found at the crime scene. There is unfinished business, though, as police hunt for a third suspect, but the chief praised the work of his lead detectives in the case.
On November 21st, 2022, a young life was stamped out at the hands of a killer who has yet to be charged. 12-year-old Juan Lopez, a 7th grader, was gunned down in Rochester, New York at 7 p.m. Members of the community would light candles, as they often do, for the numerous victims that have lost their lives in this city filled with violence and rage. In 2022, there were 76 homicides, down from 84 in 2021. In 2022, there were 303 shootings alone on the streets of Rochester, New York. In 2022, Rochester would rank 4th in homicide rates in the country, just behind New Orleans, St. Louis, and Detroit. When young Juan was gunned down, his 11-year-old little brother would be seen on the news crying, stating, "He didn't have no problem with nobody. I just wanted him to stay in the house, play with me. But he didn't listen, and look what happened. He was a smart person, a lovely person," Juanel would say. "He had a great heart. He always used to make us laugh and everything. I just wish he had one more chance." But who was the heartless felon that could so easily take the life of such a young soul? Police say that person is 16-year-old James Fernandez Reyes. At 16, he is being described as a heartless killer who should not have been on the streets. After young Juan was taken from this world, 3 more lives would be forever lost at his hands. But should he have been on the street in the first place? In September 2022, he was issued an appearance ticket for being in possession of a loaded Kel-Tec .380 caliber handgun. Many people blame the bail reform headed by New York Governor Kathy Hochul and say if this young killer was never released, none of the lives lost here would have been lost. James Fernandez Reyes, although only 16, was not new to violence in the street life. In 2021, an Amber Alert was issued to find the 14-year-old, 5'3" boy who weighed only 120 pounds. The community was out in full force when he was abducted by masked men at 4:30 p.m. on Myrtle Street in the northwest city of Rochester. Police would just a year earlier call this killer a child that was taken under circumstances that led police to believe that they are in imminent danger of serious harm and or death. He would later be found safe and ready for the down spiral that his life would soon become. After allegedly taking the life of that 12-year-old, he would flee to Pennsylvania to continue in a life of crime that would likely cost him his own life. Just days ago, police in Pennsylvania were called to the 400 block of North 5th Street in Lebanon on Tuesday, May 30th, and found multiple gunshot victims on the rear porch. The 16-year-old assassin had struck again with a calloused heart. One of the victims died on the scene while the other 2 were taken to the hospital, where they later died from their injuries. The other 2 victims, 8-year-old Jesus Perez Salam and 9-year-old Sebastian Perez Salam, they were simply smiling and enjoying life as kids are supposed to do, playing with their kittens when the gunshots raced out. The intended target, according to police reports, was 19-year-old Joshua Luga Perez. He, too, would lose his life. A 4th victim, 33-year-old Luis Cancel, was also injured in the shooting, but is expected to live. Lugo Perez was not related to the 8 and 9-year-old victims, but lived in the same home. It was reported that this beef resulted from an old argument. 2 young children that should be enjoying life, birthday parties, cookies, cakes, and ice cream, that will never again enjoy a birthday, lost their lives for no reason. Before long, cops in PA knew exactly who the culprits were. The next day after the butchery, a Lebanon County SWAT team served a search warrant on the home of Alex Torres Santos' apartment. Authorities say they found an AR-15 rifle which police say is consistent with the shell casings found at the scene of the homicides. According to a release from the DA's office, police also found a rifle with a duffel bag with magazines filled with ammunition and a small night bag containing drug paraphernalia, a scale, and a wallet with ID belonging to Torres Santos. The DA's office alleges that Torres Santos and Fernandez Reyes committed the homicides together, and that Torres Santos provided the 2 firearms used in the shootings before they left the scene with the weapons. According to court records, Alex Torres Santos, 22, and 16-year-old James Fernandez Reyes have been charged with criminal homicide, conspiracy to commit criminal homicide, aggravated assault, and carrying a firearm without a license. Torres Santos was also charged with possessing cocaine. A 3rd man is on the run. In PA, the death penalty is certainly on the table. Lebanon County District Attorney Pierre Hess-Graf said the 2 in custody are being held at the Lebanon County Corrections Facility without bail. She added her office is currently deciding whether to seek the death penalty in this case. That decision is not a quick decision. It is not one we take lightly. But again, as the police chief and the mayor have stated, these are all of our children. This is our community. We need to take this seriously.
Why does the DA come on and try to be politically correct? Well, this is a serious situation here, and, we got to really consider it and think about what's going on. Man, just tell the people what it is. You know right off the rip that you're seeking the death penalty. You know that you are. And, I want people to comment. What do you think? You think this kid should be on the street ever again? Do you think that he should get the ultimate penalty? What about his man, a 22-year-old that takes him on the ride with him, right? Easily influenced, right? You got one dummy trying to tell another dummy what to do. And at the end of the day, this was an old beef, an argument. An argument. And you guys show up and you just start unloading, man. With an AR, you start unloading. And a little 8-year-old and a 9-year-old that don't ever deserve this end up forever losing their lives. Their lives are forever over. They're out there happy, playing with their little kittens, boom, 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 and then bang. And this is why, as parents, man, this bothers me, right? And let it be a teachable moment. As parents, we got to do better. We got to protect our children. We got to make sure that they're in a safe environment. We can't have people in our household that
or maybe possibly out there in the street, people that are out there beefing with people. And I see it every day in my city on the news. 70-year-old lady was just hit the other day. 70 years old, in her house. Boys ride up and just start blasting. They hit a 70-year-old. Then the next day, while the news camera is out there, they're out there, the casters and all that, they're talking, and they catch another drive-by in the middle of the day. Bang, 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 bang. Phew, and you see the car fly by. Now, you tell me that ain't shocking. You know, like I said before I went to prison, they used to do this stuff at night, right? It was still violent. But now people don't even care. They don't care that there's cameras on the poles. They don't care that there's shot spotters in the neighborhood. They don't care that the news people are out there with their camera like, yo, man, you got to start caring about your own life. If you're the dude out there committing the violence, you got to think about your own life. You're about to throw your life away. And don't think for a minute like these cats probably thought, maybe they didn't think. But if they did, they're like, man, we're good, man. We're going to do it this way, do that. They had the perfect plan. And the next day the house gets busted in. They find everything and them dudes try to jump out the window, run away. They get caught. Now they're sitting in the jail scratching their head like, damn, life's over. There ain't no sitting in jail thinking like, man, maybe I could beat this. You know what you did. You know that these little kids lost their lives. Now you know this shit's serious. This cat's 5'3", 120 pounds last year when he became a kidnapped victim, right? They victimized him, but why? This kid was all the way in the street, right? 5 masked men don't usually come by and throw a 15-year-old in the back of a minivan or a truck, SUV, and take off. Like, use your head, man. This ain't where it's at. You can listen to me or not listen to me. You could just Google some stories. Check it out. Look and see how many 16-year-olds get life in prison. How many 16-year-olds get 25 to life. Your life's forever lost. But this is a shocking story. This is a story that, man, it bothered me. I got 2 little sons. And it just made me sit back and reflect on, yo, man, do the right thing. Do the right thing and create an environment for them to always be safe. Try to be the best father you could be. Try to be the best husband you could be. Try to be the best person you can be. Man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. If this don't shock you, I don't know what will. We got to wake up because this world it just can't keep going like this, right? It just can't. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.
Mm-hmm.